deploying some sort of attack right here in the U.S. or in Europe,
which the government would love, which the government would love, because then they could take our rights, which is what they. That's my final question for you on this front, and then I want to get a brief take on what you think Romney would do if he gets in. I mean, as you said earlier, he would just go slower with this program. The ADL came out yesterday and you know said, oh, one of the guys that shot a cop, or no, one of the friends of somebody that shot a cop, his Facebook had a link to Alex Jones. Well, yeah, I mean, I have a website that 1 million people a day visit. And, the theater shootings are being caused by talk radio, and Rush Limbaugh, the Southern Poverty Law Center, is out there saying all this. And they're saying, yeah, we need to restrict speech because, there's going to be a civil war with the right-wingers. What's your research on that, these attempts to demonize conservatives and libertarians in a second administration? We've all seen the MIAC and Homeland Security reports and others where they say the biggest threat is returning veterans. So now they're going to say Al-Qaeda is not a threat, but the returning veterans are. I mean, my point is, what do you expect the next administration if Obama gets back in on that whole front?
Yeah, I mean, just even the current administration has that kind of ideology. Like Julius Jekanowski of the FCC, who comes from and is heavily tied with something called free press, that is anything but free press. They're agitating toward more government control of the internet, of the airwaves. And Cass Sunstein, who of course just stepped down, but before then advocated for a New Deal fairness doctrine where the government would impose a panel of experts that could oversee diversity of view on the airwaves. It's like the Ministry of Information. But in Fool Me Twice, I do have specific plans that we found, including in the Green chapter, surprisingly, because the progressive camp is very nervous about the conservative and libertarian drive to point out the pseudoscience behind global warming, which is the basis for what they're trying to do in the upcoming second Obama term with lots of the economic plans. So there is a drive, although it's not specified exactly how, but using a multiple possible assaults is like this large octopus that has many tentacles to silence talk radio, to silence, to nudge toward more government regulation, keyword regulation, of the internet, of the airwaves.
Yeah, the Ministry of Truth. You know, I'm going to plug the new magazine, and I want to read the article, but I'll have to do that at the start of the next hour, and then I'll get into this whole demonization report. Third hour's coming up, but stay there, Aaron Klein. I want to come back and get your take on Mitt Romney briefly.
My friend.
The old Willie Nelson, our good friend, he is in the hospital the last few days with breathing problems. He's almost 80. That's one of the cool things about being a radio talk show host is I've gotten to know people like, well, Willie Nelson real well, but Charlton Heston, Christopher Walken last week. We got Richard Belzer coming back on Friday to get into being censored on CNN. But right now we are talking to the best-selling author of Fool Me Twice, Aaron Klein. The book is available at Infowars.com. Look, in closing, these really are authoritarians, and Bush did a lot of authoritarian stuff that I was extremely critical of as well. But I've been shocked by mainline Democrats and Democrat publications across the board just absolutely backing Obama on outrageous stuff. I mean, they could care less that Al-Qaeda lined up tens of thousands of blacks and mowed them down or cut them up with machetes. They put out this war propaganda to invade Uganda. I mean, just all of it. These are really a nasty group of people, and it just shows their followers are purely ignorant, hype-driven people who have no real liberal intentions. Because I could admire somebody that's anti-war and stuff. I could admire some, Thomas Jefferson I would see as a liberal. These people have nothing in common with Thomas Jefferson, and they are flaming authoritarians, and I'm shocked by their criminality. I mean, it is shocking.
Yeah, I personally, by the way, as a reporter, have been to different events in the Middle East. Like, for example, a speech in Ramallah on the 40th anniversary of Fatah, where I was sitting next to members of the world media, and I heard one thing, and in fact have the transcript of the speech, and then went back and saw how they all, amazingly, and I don't think they coordinated with each other at all, they selectively quoted, they changed what was said in order to meet a specific agenda. I think, though, that there's no question that we're at an economic emergency as a country, and that we have two choices. Choice number one is Obama, who does not want the country to know what his specific plans are for 4 more years. There's no question, because if he did, he would give a speech that would outline what he is planning to do. He isn't. And so what I'm doing is taking the actual blueprint for his second term, that if he only implements some of this, we won't recognize the country in 4 more years. And I'm not allowing him to get away with not telling the public what his plans are.
Sure, in closing, if Romney gets in, well, I mean, he's bought and paid for by a lot of the same interests, but how would Romney be different?
Well, that's where I was going next. I haven't seen Romney spell out how he's going to cut government spending in specific ways, which government agencies he's going to cut. Every speech that I heard, and I pay attention specifically also when it comes to the Middle East, seems no different when it comes to his agenda on Syria. He talks about Assad having to go and backing the rebels. So I don't think that he's going to come with this expansive agenda, but I think we might be looking at George Bush number 2, which is basically some of Obama's policies, but in slow motion. So the question is, are we going to get on the fast train to disaster?
Do you think Romney would? Sure. Do you think Romney would stop having the TSA take small children behind closed doors and grope them?
I haven't heard anything about that from him, and so many other issues that we want to know he just has not addressed.
Well, all I know is Al-Qaeda is not hiding in my wife's bosom, and I want the government to stop it. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Klein. The book's available at InfoWarsShop.com. We'll talk to you again soon. Stay with us, folks.
You are listening to GCN.
All right, we got a big news blitz coming up. I'm going to start the segment going over an article we put together announcing the new magazine officially, Print 2.0, The Answer to the Internet Kill Switch. Then I've got to get into the ADL. Again, trying to imply that I'm the hero of cop killers. Very, very dangerous to have that group doing that. Very authoritarian. We're going to be breaking that down coming up here after the break. We're going to get into Russia and China warning the West against Syrian intervention and a bunch of other news I haven't gotten to yet. And I've just got to go through all this information. There's so much of it. But right now, let's go to a few callers who've been holding patiently, like Josh. And then we'll go to Moose and then Susan. Josh, you're on the air from Oklahoma. Go ahead.
How's it going, Alex? First off, thank you for opening my eyes. My 6-month-old has been hearing you since before he was born, and he recognizes your voice whenever you come on air.
Wow.
Now, I have to agree with you with the crackdown on free speech. It's becoming ridiculous. I'm currently dealing with a lawsuit against my local police department for a civil rights violation with a similar incident like your second caller. Police department's taking screen caps of my Facebook posts, and they put me on their watch list as a suspicious person.
No, what they're doing is they're taking training that they did for gangs, where they stop you and take photos of you and all this, and they're now putting conservatives, libertarians, patriots in those. So if you don't like checkpoints they're running, if you don't like, we're just going to put you on the list, buddy. And so I say fight fire with fire. Just shoot video of all of them, put them on YouTube, talk about them, follow them around, see how they like it.
Yeah, and see, that's one of the beautiful things about Oklahoma is we're still a one-party state. So, I have a right, as long as I'm part of the conversation, to record the conversation. But they pulled my military record. They know I've been kicked out for being a conscientious objector. And, they've known that I worked in ordnance. So that automatically makes me suspect crime number one.
Well, that's because they're going to start a civil war. Look, the ADL, Southern Poverty Law Center, federal government say the veterans will attack all police stations with improvised explosive devices. It is coming. Get ready for war. And then they hype it and get the police and military to treat veterans like crud, starting the fight so they'll have the Civil War. I mean, and okay, cops and military, I know most of them aren't like this, but the leadership is, you want to get this fight started, I happen to know how it ends, with you absolutely defeated, cowering in your little fortresses, and then they're going to bring in the real torture teams, the mercenaries, the foreign troops. And it's not going to be UN helmets. This is official plans. And we don't want to be enemies with you. But stop harassing real Americans that know that we were occupied by foreign banks. Stop demonizing us. Stop it. We're the ones that knew Al-Qaeda worked for the globalists. Proven now. We're the ones that knew the foreign banks were setting up world government. Proven. We've been proven right. The reason we're being demonized is we know what we're talking about. And we're not going to the stinking FEMA camp. Don't stick your hand in the bear trap. I'm trying to warn people over and over again. Why is our symbol a rattlesnake? Rattlesnakes aren't aggressive like water moccasins, folks. They don't look for trouble. They shake their tail and say, hey, don't tread on me. Hey, you see this? You see that? You know what that is? That's a rattle on this end and fangs on that end. Leave me alone. You understand that? You speak English? Treat me just as good as an illegal alien. I saw some big controversy where an illegal alien was drunk driving, so the cops took him to a Taco Bell, and then the guy stumbled out in traffic and got run over. Why? Because the judges say, don't bring illegal aliens in. I want to be as good as an illegal alien. In fact, just legalize all the illegals. If I can just have the rights they have. Call being above the law. Godlike. All right, I appreciate your call, sir. Sorry to hear about that. I would, you can either move out of the town or you can start really trying to talk to those guys. I would go up when they're at restaurants and stuff and really try to talk to them like a human. Hey, you've dehumanized me. Stop doing that. I'd give them a copy of the magazine. The worst drought in 50 years continues. All right, coming up, I'm going to respond to the ADL's latest demonization of yours truly, Alex Jones, that's me. We've got big news. Government documents prove domestic drones are for spying on Americans. Remember, a month or so ago, they ran a national hoax saying the drones were not for spying, that Infowars.com was wrong, that DrudgeReport.com was wrong, that Matt Drudge was wrong, that I'm wrong, that, oh, we're not going to spy on you. And then now the new documents are out there, as if we needed Homeland Security documents to know they're already arresting people using drones. They're already weaponizing them. But a key article by Steve Watson up there. Also, federal court rules banksters can steal pensions. We're going to be going over Kurt Nemo's article. And another amazing story, cops interrogate family for allowing kids to play outside. This is the new way CPS takes your kids. Everything's endangerment. They just make it up. Then they go into the clutches of the most dangerous people out there. That said, if you go to the front page of Infowars.com, you can see the featured news stories image, and it is the cover of our inaugural September issue that I wanted to put out a little bit early. We're starting out with 50,000 copies on the streets of Austin at 1,000 locations. And then everyone that orders books, videos, T-shirts, ball caps, with evil messages of freedom on them so you can meet like-minded people. Anybody that orders stuff at InfoWarsShop.com or InfoWarsStore.com, both places take you to the same place. There's some alternate shopping carts we have, too, at InfoWars.com. If you click on the shopping link, we have a Yahoo store as well. But the point is, you can go there, and Tim came in here during the break. It is explosive. People are excited about this. They are buying it en masse at cost. At cost. You can buy 10 copies for $9.95. You can buy upwards of 100 copies, and the price just goes down and down and down. We factored it out at cost. We are selling these at cost. In fact, if you go to the article, Print 2.0, Answer to the Internet Kill Switch, you can actually go to the bottom of the article, and there is a link where you can go and see all the different prices, and that's what I'm doing right now, even though I came up with these prices last week, going from memory. You can get 10 copies for $9.95, 20 copies for $19.95. You can get 50 for $50, or 100 for $74.95. And we actually lose money on that 100 one, but I think if somebody's ordering 100, I'm happy to lose $8, $9. But we've done all the math. This is at cost. That's why there's no free citizen rule book or bumper sticker with these, because I can't afford it. All the other orders, of course, you get free Citizen Rulebook, bumper stickers, and pins and stuff we throw in there. The point is, it's all available at InfoWarsShop.com.